Hi there. Welcome to my little plant shop. Are you just browsing today, or you're seriously interested in purchasing something? Okay, fantastic. I'm excited to have you here. Yeah, take a seat behind you. Yeah, just one of those chairs there. Now, you may have seen that my shop runs a little bit differently than a lot of other stores and plant stores, bigger box plant stores, things like that. I like to curate my plants towards my customer and what they would like, and give them a very relaxed experience where they can sit back and just chat with me if they're comfortable about the different plants. I ask some questions of you, try to get to know you a little bit better so that I can then cater some possible plant options for you of what you could take home. Does that sound okay to you? Fantastic. I'm so excited. Alright, well, if we're ready to get started, I'm going to set my one plant down here, and I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, okay? Just grab my little notebook here, all my questions. That'll help me narrow down what type of plant might be right for you. Okay, so first up, are you a veteran plant owner? Or are you a beginner or someone who's just looking to get into plants? Yeah, for sure. No worries. There's so many people getting into them now. Okay, and let me cater my questions here. And so what size of plant are you looking for? Are you looking to start with maybe a smaller plant, mid-size, large? Okay, for sure. Okay, and then let me see. My next question then would be, are you looking for a plant that is easy to care for, or are you looking to jump right into the plant world and kind of start with something that's a little more difficult? I'm not going to give you, don't worry, anything too complicated. I'm not going to really give you anything like too tropical. I'm not going to give you any carnivorous plants, air plants, things like that. I'm not going to give you something that's going to overwhelm you. The goal with my shop is to continue to have people enjoy the plant world or bring them in, such as yourself, and I don't want to scare people away from plants thinking that by having a plant you have to be really intense about it, really super into it to enjoy them. Yeah, for sure. All right then. Sorry, 1 second. And the last question I have for you is, do you have a particular, or do you know a particular style that you're going for with a plant? So by style, I mean a plant that looks a certain way. So are you looking for a vining plant? A vining plant? Are you looking for maybe, what's the word? A very wide plant that's got like lots of little branches and kind of is taller and fills up, say, a corner in your office space. Okay, I see. And the final part of this quizzing process, if you don't mind, it may sound a little strange, but if you would allow me, I'm going to get a little bit closer to you. I like to look over and kind of assess the vibes, for lack of a better word, of the person who I'm helping to find a plant for. Yeah, it's very unconventional, I know, but I feel like it helps me just make that final decision of some plants to show you. I've got an idea already of, I think, about 5 different plants that I'm going to display for you, and then you can pick and choose what you want. Let's see. Your hair, by the way, it's pretty cool. No worries. Okay, I think I know what 5 I'm going to pick for you. And actually, you know what? Let me grab it right here. I'm going to start off with this croton that I had in my hands when you first arrived. So this little yellow guy is a fantastic, easy to care for plant. The main thing with it is you gotta just make sure that it gets lots of light, lots of indirect light, because if you don't, it doesn't only affect the plant, but it also affects all these, I'm trying to be as gentle as possible, leaves here. All this bright yellowing and spotting tends to fade and not reappear as well on newer growth and newer leaves if it doesn't get enough of the sunlight. So that's the main thing with this plant. He's a little bit cheaper than the other ones just because you can see he's got a little bit of droopiness happening. I think he's just going to need to be repotted to a slightly bigger pot soon, the next couple of weeks or the month or two. And going to need maybe a bit of a change of soil that better holds some watering. But don't let that stop you from enjoying this little guy. If you enjoy him a lot, he tends to do this droopiness as soon as it doesn't get like a pinch of water. But it pops right back up pretty instantly, so. And bonus, for a bunch of these plants, not all of them, but for a good chunk of them, they come with their cute little pot that they're already in. Yeah, so it's, I would say, a pretty sweet deal. If I do say so myself. This one is this adorable. Let me switch it around for you. Little cow. So cute. It's got like little feet down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a mix of kind of like a terracotta and a glazed paint material over top. It's very cute. Alright. Oh, don't worry, you don't need to make a decision now. I'm going to go through the other 4 plants that I have for you, and then I'll let you take your time and decide which one you'd want. Okay. Alright, that's great. Give me a second. I'm going to go grab the other plant for you. Fantastic. Next, I have this. Very fun and bouncy spider plant. It's doing very well. It has a couple of drying bits on the ends here, but it's just because he's in the middle of, we've been just kind of, I've just been transferring around some of the plants and the locations they are in the store. So I think he was just in a spot that got a little bit too much sun, so he's drying out a little bit quicker than usual. As you can see, otherwise it's doing very, very well. It's very luscious. I love spider plants for the factor that they've got not only these leaves, but the leaves that kind of go up and out and around, and they're just so springy and fun. Again, a very easy plant to care for as long as you stay on top of watering, and again, for this one, that you have some decent indirect light. As you can see right now, it's in this green plastic pot, and I've kind of stuck it in this yellow pot here. And this is a fun terracotta lemon pot that it comes with. It is, if you can see it, just so pretty. It's got like all the little seed spots here, and these little leaves. So fun. And then it's got a gray round base here. This pot doesn't have any holes, so you'd have to drill some in yourself if you were going to repot it. I just, unfortunately, if I'm being honest, have not had time to adjust the pots here and put some holes in this one so I can transfer him out of this big green pot here that he's in at the moment. But if you wanted to take this guy today and you found that this pot was a little small, it's fine, you're still purchasing it. You can always, save it for a different plant you get in the future and upgrade this guy to a bigger pot. This is another great one here. Yeah. I agree, for sure. Alright, I'm just going to set this one down for you and go on to our third plant, okay? Give me one moment. Alright, next I have this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ZZ plant. I absolutely adore ZZ plants. I think they're so interesting. They're not as full of a plant as I think all the other ones that I have that I'm going to show you today. It doesn't take away from the beauty and the height that ZZ plants can get to. I don't know if you've seen photos of ZZ plants in the past, but some of them can become absolutely massive and very full. So these are a fantastic plant if you have a space with less light. They do grow bigger, faster, and better with more light. They get more of these very long growths and branches, as you can see here. This guy really sprouted, I found, especially after I moved him in the shop to a spot that had a bit more bright indirect light. But all these tiny little growths here that you see, that were, some of these were the original growths, are still doing very well and did very well in some darker light. So a lot of people tend to like these for the fact that they can keep them in a very dark bathroom or bedroom, etc. As well as, it might be hard for you to see here, the ZZ plant is very interesting because it has these little, I don't know the technical term, but little pods down here at the bottom in the roots that actually hold water. And so these guys retain their own water, not just soaking it up through the ground, through their roots. So they tend to need less frequent watering than some of the other plants that we have. They're definitely quite forgiving, I found, if you have forgotten to water them for a time. They don't do too badly at all. Yeah. So there. Yeah, it's so neat. So neat. Especially this one right here. This one is very bright green. This is one of the newer growths that's coming in. And then, of course, for the pot, we've got this gorgeously adorable ladybug pot. It's kind of got a blue background, green leaves everywhere, and this this bluish, greenish, red hue combo going on between the sky and the leaves and the ladybugs. So very, very cute. So if you're a fan of bugs, then this would also be a pot that I'd really recommend. And you can buy it separately in my pot section if you're not going to go for the ZZ plant today, but you wanted this pot for something else. I know, there's so many cute pots out there. And this one, again, just I have not in the actual pot, just because this pot doesn't have any holes in it yet. Otherwise, it's a very cute combo. Alright, so I'm gonna move on because I still have two, what is it, one, two, I still have two more plants to show you. Alright, let me grab that one for you. Next for you, I have this, I can barely see you there, I'm sorry. This beautiful, beautiful, huge golden pothos. It is, I think it's hard, so hard for you to see. It's got a massive, massive tail on it. It's huge. It is a couple feet for sure long. It's getting close to floor to ceiling at this point. Yeah, no, so you've seen this plant before? Okay. Well, most people have. This is kind of, I guess, considered, at least in North America, like the main beginner's plant. Do you know why that is? For sure, well, I can tell you. So it's for a number of reasons, but one of the main things is it's the fastest growing beginner's plant, for sure, that you can have. It is also because it is a very low maintenance plant that does well in kind of almost any type of light, really. It can grow in not complete darkness, obviously, but pretty low quality light. All the way up to, you know, some more higher end indirect light. It does very well, especially if you want this amount of growth. Yeah, it's nice to see here. I believe it's a golden. It's got some of the very white leaves of the other type of pothos that are out there. I believe it's the queen one. I'm not quite sure. That's one that I don't really know so much about, but it's got very interesting colors for sure. It's not just green. So I've got it here in this basic pot. It's just a basic plastic pot. As you can see, I don't have it hanging right now, but I also have it in a little handmade macrame hanger. So it's got that cute little perk with it as well. Yeah, so I've been growing this one for a couple of years, I think like 2-3 years at this point. It takes a long time to get to this point, even for a fast growing one, but you know, it is quite worth it in the end, I find personally, because then you can, you know, hang it from your ceiling, have it drooping in different sections of your house. It's fantastic. Yeah, for sure. This is a contender, I see. Yeah, no, that's understandable. Yeah, a lot of people want a pothos or some type of vining plant, especially as one of their first ones if you can get it, because they're just so cool looking. Yeah, for sure. Well, before you make a decision on this one, I'm going to show you the last plant that I have. That's okay? Alright. I now have, as my final option for you today, this, oh my goodness, you can't even see this one fully. This huge, beautiful Areca palm. Sorry, I just had to look up what the name was again. It's this stunning, stunning, stunning palm. There's so many different types of palms out there, but I would say the Areca is one of my favorite. I wouldn't say my favorite, but definitely up there. Just because it has these beautiful light leaves, these like palm-like branches here. It's very typical of what you think when you think of a palm tree. This one has been doing great in the spot that we've had him in the shop. I would say out of all the plants, this one might be a little bit more difficult to care for than the others, but definitely not beyond beginner. I brought it out for you because it's one that, as long as in your space you have lots of bright indirect light, or a like room like a living room or something that has a big window that has lots of bright indirect light, then you'd be fine with this one. That's the only main thing. It's pretty good about watering. It's not going to give you too many issues, for sure. I wouldn't let it get too dried out, but it's a palm, so it's not going to go too awry if you don't. It's got a little bit of dead growth here on the end, but when I received this plant, it already had some of that. It's just been some bits that I've been trimming off on the ends, trying to grow out. But don't let it deter you, because it's got lots of new growth. As you can see here, it's got this one that's not even started the leaves yet. It's just the stem. We've got some other ones here that are lighter in the back as well, that are some new growth. So that's a really good sign. This one, unfortunately, doesn't have an exciting pot at all. This is the most basic of all the pots that I'm showing you today. It's just a plain black pot, a plastic pot. So really, the deal with this one is how cool this plant is, for sure. So, if you don't mind me asking, have you made a decision already? Or do you want a little bit of time to think about it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's fantastic. I'm glad that you already have decided. Yeah, if you want to take a look around my shop, go right ahead. I got lots of pots, as I was mentioning in that one section, to that back right over there. And then I've got lots of beginner to more difficult plant types on the left side of the shop there. You're right, yes. For sure. Yeah, so I'll take those two. I'm going to go put them by my register and keep them set and aside for you, so that they're ready to go for whenever you want to come by and check out. Okay. Any questions at all about how to grow the plants, how to care for them, recommendations on how to style them in your home, all that? Yeah, I do all of that. So feel free to ask away, and I'll be at the front for whenever you're ready. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming by, and I will talk to you in a bit, okay? When you're all done. All right. Take care. Bye now.